Welcome back, everybody. After a short break, what a game one. That was insane. It was so back and forth. It was like a 8,000 gold differential at the beginning. It looked like FlyQuest were winning it. Cubby, I think you said done and dusted about 4 times that entire game.
I did.
Yeah.
I really did. It should have been a game over. But I don't know what was in fear that game. FlyQuest, you got to bounce back from that. And wow, that's going to be tough to bounce back from. That was a crazy game. The best game I've seen all split. Hands down.
Yeah, it hit every narrative beat you could want in a game. The only difference being that it was game 1 of a best-of-5 series. We still have a chance of 4 more games. Cubby, before we get into our Rally Cry halftime show, though, I believe that you have something to present here because our producers were able to get a gold graph so we can visualize the swing.
All right, here are the numbers. So
wow,
here's the gold graph from that game. You know, it's not as pretty as the LCS, but we make things work here. Shout out to Rally Cry behind the scenes for helping us out. And yeah, okay, so I said 7K gold. It actually did get down to 8K briefly. That is about a 17K gold swing this game from the 17-minute mark all the way to the 40-minute mark. I mean, that is just
shout outs to Trevor, shout outs to Faisal. Those two were finding insane plays to bring the team back. That is literally climbing the mountain. So thanks for production for getting that for us. That's game 1.
What can fear possibly not do?
Right at this point,
you should go. Go text the girl if they can get back. From that, you can go do whatever you want.
All right, it did.
True, man.
Didn't work out for me, but maybe it'll work out for you. All right, well, let's get into our Rally Cry halftime show. Number 1 out of a potential 4 that we'll have to do. So quarter time show.
Let's
I don't know.
say 4 now.
Yeah, quarter time show. We're gonna learn a little bit about the players. This is one that I haven't played yet. The split, Cubby. I think you might have played it or ran this earlier. This split when you were
I had to bring it back. I mean, this is a favorite of mine from yours.
So this one is called Tic Tac Trivia. So if production can make me bigger, make these 2 smaller, I'm gonna swap on over here so that we can see this beautiful board that I have prepared.
Ooh.
Now, Tic Tac Trivia, the way it works, it's tic-tac-toe. You both take turns. You pick a player that you want to put your tick or your tack on, but you have to answer a trivia question before you get it down. I'm going to let Cubby go first because Zestrix needs a little rest because I imagine his voice will be used much this series from all the action that we're going to get. So, Cubby, that will make you circles. Who do you want to go for first?
Wait, X's go first, but that's fine.
Oh, is it X's? All right.
It is.
I thought it was circles. All right, sure.
Shout out, I hope you have a trivia question for Philip, by the way. But we're going to go...
Yeah, shout outs to Philip. You can only fit 9 on the board.
Yeah, we're going to go with the banana man himself, Manui, as I like strategery here.
Going with Manui, he's in the middle.
Yes.
Now, this is an interesting one because it applied to some of how we set up the framing for the match going into it.
Yeah.
And also, this is probably the easiest for you to get. I shouldn't have put it in the middle or given you first guess. This is on me. Sorry, Deserix. What was Manui's most played champion this split?
Oh, this split? I mean, are we including playoffs and regular season?
Yes. Everything played so far.
I think I want to... it's either Jinx or Xayah. And I think I'm going to guess Jinx, given playoffs.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not right.
Ooh.
That's not right, Cubby.
Ooh.
Okay, Deserix, would you like to steal?
Uh-oh.
I would like to steal.
Okay.
I'm going to give an attempt. I'm going to go in a different direction. Because of the early season play that we got from Fear, I'm going to say Varus.
No, it's Aphelios. Oh, it is?
What? Get dunked, kid!
What?
Get out of here, Cody!
Technically, there's 2 answers. It's Varus and Xayah tied. But I'm giving it to you. It was a little bit of I would have given it for either one. So Cubby was close. You almost said the Xayah.
Close ain't close enough, boy!
Seraphine was number 5.
I'm down bad.
But was banned in pretty much every game it wasn't picked. So would have been the top one. Pick and ban is very interesting to see going into this. And now Manui pulling up on the Aphelios as well. Looking pretty good. All right, that's over to Deserix. You got one on the board. You have a chance to actually sweep Cubby now.
No, let's just end the game right here. This is as good as it's gonna get for me, man. Let me get Masu.
You want to go for Masu? All right, Masu. commonly known as the Wi-Fi Wizard, played on 120-plus ping for the first 3 weeks of the season due to his Wi-Fi connection from Canada. What was his ping in week 4 when he finally got an Ethernet connection?
Yeah, you know, sometimes I'm going through my narrative notes.
Why do we not have the Shacker as gamer tweets this anymore, man? Like this has got to be in there.
That was good. That was a good account. I miss it.
Damn you, Elon.
You know, I'm gonna go for just a friendly number. I'm gonna go for 10.
10.
That's a little low.
That is not correct. Cubby,
to
you have a chance to steal.
Renew my winnable mug here. 90 to 95, I think. That's about it.
That is correct. It was 90. Around there. He said it was like during the interview I had with him, he was talking about that.
Wait. This was remote?
He was still remote. In week 4, he was still remote. He wasn't in LA yet. No.
I mean, you said yourself, you know, you did great prep today, Desterux, that Winsome came in week 6. Fear played FlyQuest week 5, and Masu also got here. So there was a little bit of a middle ground there for the Wi-Fi Wizard.
All right, let's see if we can actually get a winner here and keep going on to learn about our players. Cubby, you're up.
I've been high on Faisal all year. I gotta pay that off here. Gotta take Faisal.
Oh baby, he had an insane performance too. He has
I think him and Trevor are the reason they won.
Exactly. He has 1 recorded pentakill. What champion is it on?
Oh, poopy. I have no idea. Because it wasn't this year, was it?
It was not this year.
I'm gonna go with Camille. He's a Camille player.
Desterix, can you steal?
I'm gonna try and steal. You said this year?
Not this year.
Not this year. Not
It
this
was
year.
last year.
Was it EGP Olaf Pentakill 7-1 something?
That is correct. He got a pentakill on Olaf. He doesn't need Olaf to do Olaf things, though, because in that game on the Cassante, he basically felt like an Olaf. Absolutely insane performance from Faisal.
I should have guessed. Why didn't I guess Olaf?
I don't know why you didn't guess Olaf, but it's over to Desterix. You have a chance to end the game right here. Pick and ban's up in about 2 minutes, so we might still fill some time talking about players.
All right, Perry.
Perry, there we go. That's how you'd win the game. Harry was awarded the most improved player in which year's scouting grounds? And what team did he join immediately after?
Yikes.
A history lesson here. It's a history one. Oh, yeah.
Why is it a 2-pronged attack?
Well, I felt like it was too easy on the first one. Maybe I was wrong there.
We haven't had a scouting grounds, have we?
I mean, I got the answer, but it's only like narrowing things down.
All right, I'm going to give you 5 seconds.
19.
That is incorrect. Cubby.
21 and EGP.
Well, I got to count where he is. Yes, that is correct.
That was like the only option.
Yeah, he joined Evil Genius's Prodigies, was not re-signed for the next summer, and has now worked his way back to this level of competitive play. His journey has been really fun to follow, and now I'm realizing that after putting that big X on him, it almost looks like a negative on the board, but that's a positive that Cubby got that. I'm going to give us one more, because Pick and Ban is right around the corner. I don't want to waste any more time, but Cubby.
Give me Lee Sin and Shochi.
Shochi, Lee Sin. He has also, this is another pentakill one. One recorded pentakill. What champion was this one on?
The pentakill.
They're fun. I like the pentakill.
Yone? I don't know.
No.
Syndra?
The correct answer is Tryndamere. He got a Tryndamere pentakill in Proving Ground Circuit qualifiers in 2022 spring.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Throw another one that your favorite out there. Do we have no? Do we have time?
Let's just finish up the rest of the ones that weren't said.
Okay.
Trevor, what video game consoles released the year he was born? The N64 and the PlayStation 1. Shout outs to Trevor.
Yes.
Same year as myself. UG played in collegiate for how long before being scouted by FlyQuest? 2 months. He only got 2 months of play before being scouted.
Semester, and he didn't even play jungle.
It wasn't even jungle, and it wasn't even during the regular season for collegiate. For Winsome, between playing in Cloud9, LCS, and Academy in spring last year, and then returning to Challengers, what team did he play on? Unicorns of Love Academy or Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition. Either one is acceptable, yep. And then for Spyrax's, which collegiate season was he subbed into mid lane late into the bracket to ensure a finals appearance, and for which team? 2021 collegiate for Maryville.
Another fun story, Desterux brought up the fact that if he played APA, or wins, he plays APA in the next round. Also, he faced Bradley in the top 4 when Bradley was playing mid, beat him to move on to finals, and Bradley's the top laner, of course.
But first, he's got to get there. First, he's got to get there. And Fear were resilient in game 1, not giving them that win. I'm hearing the pick and ban is ready, so I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to pass it back over to you, 2 of you for game number 2.
Right, game number 2, and Fear took game 1. What a swing that was. Cubby, I want to ask you, what do you attribute to that mostly, at least in the draft context, as we start getting ready for this?
Death Sentence.
Absolutely.
I think Sion, Death Sentence was big, and I think if we're going to get any changes here from FlyQuest, it's going to be maybe a Thresh deny. We know that Winsome can play it. I do think he played the Tahm Kench matchup well in lane, but that was way too damn good for the side of Fear. So I think that if we're going to see any swap, that's going to be it.
Let's see what that final ban is going to be.
You could let Wukong through. I think you can play Vi into Wukong. I do think that Vi does counter Wukong. I know it's Perry's best champ, but no, it's either you ban Wukong, so it will be the Vi now. And now, do we see Thresh taken?
Yeah. Winsome does play this, can lock it in if he so chooses to take that. But still going to put priority over towards that Lee Sin. I think Yuji did look fantastic when he was playing it. If they do go for this lock-in, especially in the early game. Again, this was a 7K lead that FlyQuest were able to establish in that early game. So nothing going wrong, I would say, in terms of the Lee Sin pick.
Yeah, and I guess you could take Jinx as well. So we give up Thresh. We're okay with the same draft. I will say, if FlyQuest wants to do a salty run back, there was a 7K gold lead, you know? There was a 7K gold lead. Like, things were going well. It's just, it went well until it wasn't. I do think Cassante was also a big part of why that game was turned around. That could be one of the swap-ups we see. Like, Philip taking Cassante on 4. You could see an Annie deny. Yeah, once you pick the Jinx, the first 3 is going to be the same. So now, do we see any changes? Does FlyQuest want to swap things up at all? Or do they believe in themselves as a team?
If they're able to find that out right now. I mean, the run back, at least for the top end of the map, I mean, the top end of the draft so far, does pose some pretty interesting things because Philip was able to play towards that bottom lane and got a lot of kills onto Minui and Trevor for those early stages. We'll see if Philip can repeat that. The bans coming in so far, Fiora and Orianna, nothing too out of what we had last game.
I mean, the only change left I see is the Cassante or getting rid of an Annie.
Yeah.
It could be. Even if you get rid of Annie, though, like Annie wasn't really the problem, and there are picks that scale harder. Shochi's champ pool is really not worth hitting for me because it is so wide and weird. So, like, if you take away one champion, like, what are you really getting for that? And then the Renekton ban, I will say Renekton ban is a little bit weird for me when you are going to be picking Sion. So this tells me this time around, you're going to go for Cassante. I think that's what Fear has to be worried about, the swap that I see coming in.
All right, final ban, 7 seconds on the clock to get that through to see if that is actually going to be that Cassante pick.
Any swap, that's got to be it. And if I am FlyQuest, I would get rid of the Cassante. I feel like that was the thing that really broke the comp.
Right. Ban comes in. They are going to take away the Vigar that Spyrax was playing last game. That was somewhere going towards 1300 AP that Spyrax was able to get up to.
Can still Victor. So I like the Victor and Annie matchup if that's going to be the case.
This pick to come in. Solo lanes available for FlyQuest. I believe this is when they really got that front line going. Sion pick, but they're opting for Spyrax to take this Annie.
Okay, that is one option for the deny. Again, Shochi does have options. I think the Victor is pretty good this game. But this Annie Lee Sin, that gives you a winning mid-jungle duo.
Yeah.
So FlyQuest focusing a little bit more on the early game. Not surprised to see Cassante come in. I think Faisal's Cassante was fantastic. Guys, Faisal, I could not believe, frankly, that Faisal was not on a Challengers team moving into this year. Faisal has really proven that for himself. So I think Faisal's play has been really good. It was so good in that game. We have seen Shochi run this into Annie before. It will be the case. So Cho'Gath Cassante, that is a super tanky front line. Jinx is going to need an early LDR. And now FlyQuest, do they take something that can get through tanks? I will say Cassante does win into the Camille matchup, but I think Camille is actually okay / playable this game for Philip, or you can just go beefy frontline. But Cho'Gath does kind of counter tanks, so okay, might just be Philip Nar. You can play that into both Cassante and Cho'Gath, so don't mind it.
Okay, with that lock in, that puts our matchup for over onto the top side. It's still side of the map that I'm going to be looking at a lot because I think Faisal, even sometimes in matchups where it feels like you're focusing all your attention up there, he can still shine out. He needs a little bit of econ to give a lot back to Cincinnati Fear. The big thing here is we have 2 active junglers once again in both that Vi and the Lee Sin.
And the other big thing is that if we're going to put our heads back into the early game and how FlyQuest got that lead, it was all about Yuji's Lee Sin play. This comp for FlyQuest, it's a little bit more about hitting things hard early. I think I like FlyQuest draft. Again, I feel like Annie gets a lot of value here, especially if you go Leandres this game against Cassante, Vi, Shogath. I think a lot of it, again, is just going to be about Trevor's hooks, and it's harder to hook a Gnar than it is a Scion. You just keep on throwing out the death sentences and making Scion's life hell. I think that's really where Fear were able to make a big difference in some of these team fights. FlyQuest did take that away with the draft adaptations that they made, and they have more winning sides with Philip on the Gnar, so they can stretch the map or something. I think that FlyQuest has done really well.
And again, Uchi got ridiculously ahead in that early game with this Lee Sin, so eyes onto that to see what pressure Yuji can put onto this map, what he can play over towards that bottom side as we head into our second game of this best-of-5 series, Cincinnati Fear versus FlyQuest Challengers. What an upset for that first game to go to Fear.
All right, well, we have Shochi playing up on the Spyrax, which means that Fear can get in here. They might look for a hook onto Winsome, and Winsome gonna be a little bit wary of that. As, all right, we have Fear making more fans in the chat. Not surprised, given their play in the first game. And gotta say, FlyQuest, I feel like the reset here, I credited both staffs before we got into the series, Eric, about you know how each team, it really feels like they have improved throughout this year and this split. But FlyQuest, they got to go back to the drawing board and just make sure, like, hey, you know what? That game, it went bad for us, right? We had a 7K gold lead. Things got terrible, or 8K gold lead even. Things got terrible. That's going to happen sometimes, all right? You just got to reset, get yourself back into that mind space where you did get that original lead and try and find it again. Because FlyQuest did a lot of good things, especially early in that last game. Just need to make sure they turn that one into a victory this time around.
And this is best of 5, as I had said earlier, so it's a little bit of a different environment. When it comes to a best of 5, the stress is definitely much different now as we've gone all the way to the top 6. Trevor's still getting some of those death sentences into harass onto Masu. But with that note coming through, we did stress the importance of both of these teams, what it means for them to get into the top 4. And for FlyQuest to take that first loss, it's definitely going to be hurting, but it's something you can recover from.
I mean, of all the things that I'm surprised of from game 1 to game 2, I think the most surprising is that Trevor got Thresh again.
Yeah.
I really thought I was gonna be denied in draft, but again, FlyQuest, they were able to find advantages in that bot lane early. A lot of that came, keep in mind, Perry. He did go for the same clear that he did in game 1 that he's going for now. Perry did make the gank bot, and Yuji was able to punish off that. At the moment, each jungler is spotted, and Perry is not going to go for that gank again as it is warded out. He's going to be clearing towards the top side.
Nice little move from Yuji right there. Saved his Tempest up until the Rupture did come out, so it guaranteed he was going to get the full Raptor camp. Nice little play to respond to the pressure coming out from Shochi.
The Spyrax did ward the bot side here, which that does tell me that we could see Perry actually find something mid if he wraps around. You can gank for Cho'Gath. He has a really nice gank setup on Annie. It's one of the reasons why we do see Cho'Gath. Oh, that's very deep from Winsome.
Oh, pulled right back in.
Yeah, nice.
But is smart enough to sidestep that death sentence. Would have done a little bit more work right there. Perry is setting up towards this top side. Said Fear does like to invest quite a bit into Faisal, so now they're going for the dive onto Philip. For the setup right now, who's going to juggle that tower aggro? Ooh, Perry tries to do it, but a nice flash comes out from Philip. Now, will it be enough to deny this dive coming through? One more hit is found, and Perry will get first blood, but it's at the cost of his life.
Well played by Philip. Again, I think that Fear, if they're going to pull that off, they have to wait for the Q to be back up onto Vi. Not the case. They go early, and Perry ends up going down with him showing top. Now, Yuji can go bot again. FlyQuest hat push.
The moment Yuji sees Perry, he knows he has to make an attack, and he's making it into the bottom lane. A flash comes out. They're trying to take down Minui. The body block found by Trevor denies the zap. Still getting more shots in. The death sentence onto Masu. It was beautiful from Trevor.
That's huge. Masu isn't able to farm another wave. He gets traded out for the marksman, and look who gets the kill. It's Minui who walks away with the gold and not Masu. It still is going to be an even base given the CS lead for FlyQuest bot lane, but that's a really good trade. And again, Trevor's Thresh, it's been so big in this series already.
No, you got to ban this away. He cannot be allowed to play this champion, man. Oh, that dive setup, looking to set. I mean, Trevor body blocked so much damage that was going over to Minui. And of course, that beautiful death sentence at the end to catch Masu. Goodness gracious, Trevor. He's performing out of his mind right now on this champion.
I mean, Trevor, he has so much to prove. Again, he's a player that feels like he's really been skipped over purely because of his age. And so for Trevor, hey, he is the type of player where the format change, it really does make the biggest difference for him. Because the only reason that we haven't seen Trevor picked up is because he's older than some of the other players that orgs are looking at. This is the best opportunity for Trevor to prove that, hey, age doesn't matter. I'm just as committed and just as good as everyone else that you're looking at. And Trevor has done that the entire season, and now on this Thresh in the meta swap, he's been a good Thresh player in amateur in that space for a long time, and man, Trevor's having a hell of a series already today as this Thresh. It's 6 plays in playoffs. I mean, that's play than any more of his champs combined now with this game, and oh god, he just continues to step up.
Trevor, fantastic play from one of the older players, but it's a steal from Yuji, and a turnaround for FlyQuest as Fear try to get out of this situation, but FlyQuest are not going to allow them. Yuji on the flank. You also got Winsome right there. Minui's going to be caught out, but there's the rupture, and another death sentence. No way! Winsome's under the tower, and one more shot going to go through, makes it a trade. Zap does not land.
Okay, so Sonic Wave being sidestepped there does mean it is a trade, but Minui does go down again. I think Fear going for that dragon, very aggressive. Again, you're going into an Annie comp. So you know that Saber is going to be so strong around the first objective. Yuji finds the seal, they find the fight. FlyQuest again on the back foot. Or Fear on the back foot. Thanks to FlyQuest turning that around. This game's too crazy.
It's hard to tell, Cubby. It's really hard to tell. You know,
might be making more coffee for a reason, you know.
Oh no!
First game got me going.
Cubby, it's these games, man. Like how close these plays are.
It's been a hell of a start, man.
Even that last dive could have gone either way. Trevor, great on this Thresh, and FlyQuest. Yeah. Still holding the lead for now. They are getting that deep vision once again that they do like to establish into that bottom side of the jungle of Cincinnati Fear. Let's take another look at how this still happened, because we tuned in at the very last second.
Is there not enough mana for Feast? Shochi's just not feasting this, and Yuji just gets to walk in. I mean, Shochi could feasting at a free stack. Yeah. Maybe they thought it was a fight, because Perry did smite early, I think thinking that Shochi would feast it. I will say the very important thing, Minui got another kill here. So Minui's been taken off the map twice. He at least has been able to get credited with a kill. That's really big because it's kept him even in items with Masu. Again, in these handshake matchups, that's a big deal. Aphelios needs to be ahead early, so that is keeping Minui in the game, which is really big for Fear.
Keeping sturdy is his bottom lane for Fear thus far. I mean,
he's down 20 CS, but like even in items, right? Yeah. That's really, really important for the side of Fear.
And I think it's definitely been the players who improved the most, as we hold that thought, because Shochi under attack, Dragon's Rage found by Yuji, but Shochi just heads into the other direction.
Still a nice chunk. They are playing for that Rift Herald, so Shochi doesn't have that TP. Finding that chunk does mean that FlyQuest should be able to take this Rift on their own, but Yuji right now, he's looking around for Perry.
Shochi still lining up back into the mid lane. Yuji finally going to find Perry, but Perry says hello. Oh, that's good old Vault Breaker. Now Yuji is the one who has to bail out. We'll have Shochi not too far off, who does have priority into that mid lane. Perry will transfer bot.
Yeah, again, I think that Rift is definitely lookable right now for FlyQuest. They don't want to fully rotate their lanes because they have Shochi so low mid. They should be able to take this as a 3v3 and give nothing over to Fear on the trade. So I think the chunk mid from Spyrax and Yuji was really big. Again, when you're playing Annie, a lot of your power is from that mid-jungle duo. So we actually see for the counter, Fear trying to push up here mid, and Yuji is going to be here to answer as Spyrax baits him in.
Yuji was expecting that attack to go on to Spyrax. Did wait into that brush, but not landing the Sonic Wave. Can't really follow through. No Tibbers available for Spyrax. Fight going down in the bottom lane. Trevor almost falls to the Super Mega Death Rocket.
Again, Trevor forced to reset. I will say, if Yuji's returning to his camps, I still think that there have been windows for FlyQuest to start up this Rift Herald. Maybe they want Annie to have Tibbers again. As okay, heads up, Yuji.
Oh, looking to catch out Yuji. It does get the flash out of Yuji. Perry just waiting in that river bush.
A big deal. I mean, you can check that bush over the wall with Sonic Wave. He's able to find Perry, then he gets the jump. But no, Perry actually takes enough out of Yuji. He does have his ultimate that just came off cooldown, but now he lost the flash. He's not going to smite this because they still want to maybe look for a contest, but I'm really surprised that FlyQuest haven't been able to take this Rift Herald. I feel like the setup was okay for them.
Yeah.
and like they just get forced off by Fear. They had Shochi so low, and you know they had Prio top with the Gnar. I feel like there were a couple windows where they could have tried to force this Rift Herald, but with Yuji not having ult, I guess that's not enough for them, and they just give it away to Fear, who again they get it for free.
I mean, it was the moment Perry showed in the mid lane that Yuji was pulled over there. Perry was just trying to get the wave shoved in to get some priority back over to Shochi, but Yuji doubling back and not really much coming of it. Waste that time that FlyQuest could have had that Rift Herald.
Yeah, also, gotta say, it's looking like it's going to be the Roa for Spyrax, so more emphasis on that scaling. Roa is very good on Annie, but also you're going up against 3 health stackers on the top side. I thought the Andres would be pretty valuable this game, but more emphasis on FlyQuest for me for the later stages of the game, with Spyrax going for that Roa.
Trevor playing in the Fog of War. He's calling over Perry, who's showing up towards his bottom side, because Dragon spawns right now. 5 seconds till it's up. The recall was made out of Shochi, who will be late, so this wave will be shoved in the name of FlyQuest, thanks to Spyrax being over there, but Cho'Gath does have some pretty good wave clear if this is stalled out a bit longer. FlyQuest bottom lane will respond to the wave going back to the bot, but that priority finally frees up the mid for FlyQuest to start the Drake.
I still feel like this fight's a little bit scary for the side of Fear. They cannot stack into Annie. All eyes on when that Tibbers drops. As you can see, Spyrax holding his stun.
Spyrax holding on to it. Has flash available. Wants to find it on Minui. Able to get it onto him. Minui takes a chunk, but is going to be okay. Spyrax still holding it with the Bear Tibbers, but locked into the pit is going to be Shochi. Now the engage coming out from Perry. Oh, it's turned around on a dime. 1-for-1 trade thus far. Trevor's low, but the kill found by Minui. Spyrax still on the chase with the golden Shochi. Right there, the lantern of Trevor. It unfortunately will not stop Tibbers from burning him down.
Spyrax trying to maybe use Tibbers to find more stuns, another kill. You can still see Spyrax sticking around. Monster's going to get the wave in. They might look for a dive onto Minui. Trevor's going to wait for the Lantern in the back half.
It's going to be pretty dangerous. Still more going on this top side. And just like that, we collapse straight into a fight. Went for a 2-for-2 exchange, and both teams trying to rush back into position.
FlyQuest will be in position first, as Minui does have to catch this wave. So I still think they get the second dragon, just is delayed a little bit. Still decent attempt from Fear. I gotta say, Yuji did play that fight really well mechanically, as he was able to safeguard out of Aphelios' ultimate. I think that bought enough time for FlyQuest to somewhat reset. I know he still went down, but now you can see FlyQuest, they are out on the map first, and this should be theirs.
Now there's the classic Winsome. Hops right out into the bottom quadrant jungle of Cincinnati Fear. 3 wards placed back to back to back.
Yeah, so again, Spyrax, wherever he goes, it's going to be really big. Minui was able to flash, or cleanse flash out of the chain. Ended up being really important. And Minui just being zoned off, so FlyQuest still sticking around his 4. Spyrax finds them again on the back half. A nice 2-man stun, and then watch Yuji here. He's going to wait out the Rupture, wait out the Death Sentence, finds the Safeguard in, gets out of the Aphelios ult. He does fall to the Silence and the Q activation, which was a little bit unfortunate, but really close to Yuji getting out. He played that really well.
Unfortunate that Tibbers burn comes through to take down Shochi in the back half of that.
But you know, it was a nice little Q follow there from Spyrax. Decent attempt on the stopwatch, but for not. And I mean, still, Fear are way more competitive in this game, right? It's a very similar comp. FlyQuest actually did opt for more early game this game, and Fear have this game way closer than the last one. So I think they made some good adaptations going into the game too, because the early game was a big problem for them.
Now Yuji inside of the jungle. Spyrax trying to collapse in. The bottom lane going to link up with their jungler. FlyQuest are looking towards this bottom quadrant to make a play. Yuji can ward hop to safety if he needs it, but this looks like a fight's going to come out. Not sure what FlyQuest are going for here. Devour onto Yuji, but he's caught out as the death sentence lands onto Winsome. Yuji choosing not to go through with the resonating strike, but as you said, Cubby, a very awkward fight on playing.
Yeah, Winsome and Yuji just kind of stuck between two things, as you can see Spyrax trying to get back to mid. Now Yuji, they do have an Ocean Dragon on the side of FlyQuest. It is really nice to have it early in the game. It does help with some of your sustain in the lane. So Yuji will be able to jungle privilege his way back to full HP, no problem. And we'll see if there's any contest around the second Rift Herald that will be spawning here pretty shortly. I think that's going to be a big deal for FlyQuest to get. I mean, maybe just to take some plates off of mid, or also just get Philip ahead. Philip is getting to the part of the matchup where once he finishes Triforce, things are pretty good, but Perry's trying to get involved before that.
Here we go once again. Perry onto the top end, wants to get Faisal going. So much damage onto Philip. It's a kill for Faisal.
All right, well, we keep on talking about the Thresh for Trevor. Maybe it's time we start talking about Faisal's Cassante as well. Him and Perry made that look real easy. I love the ult from Cassante into the Q from Perry. That's a top jungle duo that's playing in sync. No way for Philip to get out of that. Even with the flash, he goes down. Really well played by Faisal.
Cubby, how is it that we're having such an exciting game right now? I can barely take it because we just had the World Baseball Classic that's currently going on. Do you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
I just recently discovered it. I found out it happens every 4 years. Kind of made me laugh about it though was like the first 3 of them USA kind of sucked, and now last one we took the belt. Hope for NA at Worlds is what I'm trying to get at here as Perry chases over on the UG.
You know, more of the Major League Baseball players are competing in it. It's part of the reason that you're hearing more of it now. As we have, you know, top players competing is always fun. At the moment, it is funny, you bring up baseball, where Fear are the only team that have a town to them, and also the Reds suck. So, oh, hold on.
Oh, UG almost got out. Death sentence is going to be found on Philip. Philip could do nothing. He's locked down by Trevor.
Oh, no,
and the knockup finds the money. Another kill for Cincinnati Fear. Masu unleashing the rockets to bring something back for FlyQuest, but it's far too late.
I mean, that's a fight that FlyQuest are opting into, and it goes sideways now. Faisal is here. He almost has ultimate. Winsome should be able to kite him out.
Yeah, Winsome. This will dive. We'll hop to safety, but that's another win. And as we head towards the mid-game point, it seems this is where Fear thrive as they fight FlyQuest.
I mean, FlyQuest, like, that's a really deep play coming in from Philip and the team. And Yuji, it feels like it's a bit of a force. I think Yuji's still finding decent plays on the map, but they didn't have the numbers there. They don't have the strength. Every skirmish we've seen them take, they've kind of been losing out on here, Deserex. And for FlyQuest, it's not like they have the Vigar scaling like last time where they still dropped the game. They have to play faster this time, and meanwhile, now we have Spyrex heading for the hills. Spyrex that's a dead Annie.
You gotta play faster, you gotta run faster from Faisal. Yeah, okay, execution at the very least right there.
Annie did run fast enough. Wow, that's... All right, well done.
Problem is, it's still going to be Spyrax off the map at a time where FlyQuest would like to set up a little bit more for these neutrals. Dragon will be spawning in 45.
While that was going on, it was Second Herald secured by Fear, and now Fear, that gives them the time to reset on the map. They can use Second Herald to try and pressure this Dragon. Would be big for them to take away from FlyQuest, given it is sole point for them. They have the gold lead. They will have... They already have pressure mid. They will have pressure mid in the next wave. They want to drop the Herald. So the setup's already really good for Fear.
And they got their lanes going really well. I mean, we saw that gank going out from Perry and Faisal over towards the top side and what they were able to do there. But the earlier stages, Minui, who's been getting a lot of these kills on this Aphelios, is going to be that big late game factor. You know, Perry was crediting Minui as being a big grinder. Over the season, I felt like that was true. He's improved so much as we've gone on.
I really love, like, Perry's streams, too. He streams quite a bit. He talks a lot about his process and improving. And I know that for Perry, you know, he said he's 18. Like, this is a chance to get out of his house. He's putting as much time as work into this as he can. Really paying off for him as at the moment this Dragon should be secured by Fear. But do we have a fight after? That's the true question.
Dragon does go down. Meganar is available. Philip trying to get that ultimate off, but he's forced to run away. Yuji hops in. It's a beautiful Dragon's Rage, but there's no fight available for FlyQuest just yet. They'll try and force one back, though, as Yuji goes down. Minui's able to find him, but Masu is excited. He has the resets. He has a front line, and he's brought the rockets to lay into Shochi.
I know that Yuji is the only one that dies for FlyQuest in this fight, but he made this fight happen. He almost one-tapped Minui and found a 3-man Dragon's Rage in the back half. It bought so much space for the carries of FlyQuest to play, and FlyQuest get themselves back into this game.
Back and forth and back and forth. This has been Cubby. This series is not letting up.
I mean, this Dragon Rage from Yuji, it's beautiful. As Philip, he gets the flash out of Minui, the flash comes out of Trevor, and then Yuji so clean as he finds the double knockup. And look at this, everyone's focused onto Wee Sin. It means that Perry gets to melt for free. Masu Spyrax are not pressured. The Perry ultimate was not followed up by Fear. The fight is split. Masu just runs away from Shochi. Yeah, Yuji goes down, but he pretty much traded himself out for Minui. That gets Masu a reset, and FlyQuest get running.
FlyQuest, they needed to come back, and they're doing it on Fear right now. Didn't fall too far behind like we had in that first game, but now they are in the driver's seat. Now they're the team with the gold lead.
Yeah.
And when you need to count on Yuji, he is able to clutch it out and get FlyQuest back in a good position, but Fear are not done.
I gotta say, it looks like third item LDR too for Masu. It's going to be pretty big this game, given we talked a little bit about that really heavy front line for Fear and some of the health stackers. That's going to be especially valuable, like that choice from Masu. As between the Hurricane and the LDR, he's going to be ripping through this front line. And again, a lot of the game plan for Fear, it is about preventing that Jinx reset. Because if Jinx does get excited, they don't have a bunch of tools outside their first rotation of spells and then a couple ultimates that can deal with Jinx in the back half. So I think it's going to be really important for FlyQuest. They are able to make sure that Jinx can get those resets. Usually did a great job of that in the first fight.
And for Fear, I'm going to be looking at Trevor once again to be that one that denies FlyQuest from getting that condition going, right? There was death sentences on Winsome that did not allow the Devourer to protect the backline. See more of that from Trevor. Could be a pretty strong fight back for Cincinnati Fear. A lot of that's going to have to come from Vision. Trevor trying to get some, but FlyQuest known for getting it very deep into the enemy jungle.
I think it's a good highlight by you, Desterux. You know, those death sentences that were really big in game one, but again, a lot of that was also the Scion, right? You can just keep on chaining those death sentences against the Scion. It's so much harder to deal with Gnar in these scenarios. And also with Scion, a lot of the times FlyQuest was walking up to try and protect the Scion or try and utilize the fact that he was being hit to try and trade out some damage. That's not going to be the case with Gnar Lee Sin. A lot of it's going to be about playing these fights a lot faster and finding angles. It's going to hopefully prevent Winston from being that far up and being vulnerable to death sentences from Trevor. I think FlyQuest are, you know, the early game didn't quite go as well for them, but some of these adaptations later in the game, that fight went much better for them. I think a lot of that was off the back of Yuji, but each of our teams showing a few adaptations in the series from very similar drafts, which I always love to see.
Absolute banger as well from game one, and already moving on to this game two, 21 minutes into it. It's only 1.5k gold lead for FlyQuest. Still looking at their positioning onto this map. They don't seem as concerned with the Dragon at the moment, not moving towards that side of the map for their T-Vision. Losing some over on this Baron side where Fear are currently posturing up.
Annie on the side. So again, another nice part about FlyQuest at this point of the game, something I think FlyQuest has done really well in this tournament. Annie and Gnar can win both sides. So Gnar wins side into both Cho'Gath and K'Sante. Annie's going to be okay into the Cho'Gath. So I think that this does enable FlyQuest to try and stretch the map. I think this is a advantageous state for them, given the tape I've seen. Fear plays objectives, team fights so damn well. We've seen every team of the league struggle against that. FlyQuest, though, stretching the map, I think this is really what got them here and why they're 14-3, now 14-4 with Winsome. So I think that was another adaptation of this draft that the Gnar did open up for FlyQuest, and they're using it well right now.
You see Mad Magical giving a little shout out to some of the things we brought up on that pre-show about how important this top 4 placing would be for both of these squads. You gotta fight for it, and that fight's coming out now! They're looking to find Masu. Masu's low! Cease and desist goes out! Masu's able to peel back! It's a pick onto Spyrax! Losing one is gonna be FlyQuest. They protect Masu, but they lost Spyrax.
It's the death sentences that make the big difference again as Shochi. The first rupture, it did... Oh, hold on. Okay.
Oh, Yuji goes for a kick. That was not the play he was intending for, and that's gonna be his flash down.
But that, so it was Eat forced out of Winsome from the rupture onto Masu, but then Spyrax got 0 damage down. And I love how Shochi, just an easy follow-up on the parry, right? Who needs the rupture? Just drop the silence. No flash, no tibbers. It's not because Spyrax, wasn't, failed to press those buttons, because he couldn't. He was silenced, right? So the follow-up really big there from Fear. Gets them that second dragon, and they again deny FlyQuest that sole point.
The silence of the Cho'Gath, that feral scream, it lasts for quite some time, and it can be so frustrating.
Kind of OP.
Yeah, for Spyrax to have to deal with. On top of that, the pressure that was put on Masu meant for the first 2 to 3 seconds, he could not DPS into that fight. Yes. That was a great take for Cincinnati Fear.
That's been the big difference for the last 2 fights we've seen. The carries that can DPS versus the ones that can. Is FlyQuest laying a trap.
Oh, but Spyrax is already low.
Golden.
And Shochi go to try and finish this off. Doesn't look good right now. Shochi trying to get out of this, has a lantern to take.
Masu.
Masu's over there, though, and Trevor's starting to run low on health. Death sentence comes out, doesn't land onto anyone. And FlyQuest take one right back. They'll find Parry.
That's Smite off the map. They could just start Baron off this. They can at least look to turn. They only burn Gnar ultimate, so Spyrax still has Tibbers. Winsome's about to get his Eat back up. I want FlyQuest to turn this. I think it's going to be really big for them if they can get Spyrax in position.
Spyrax still at about a third of health left. You gotta watch out for those death sentences. You don't have Tibbers. Faisal's hopping in. Faisal wants to frontline. Shochi not far. Devour onto Spyrax. Gonna be down a man. Will be Spyrax. Oh no. FlyQuest go in. Able to get the kick onto Minui. Minui hops away. Faisal finds one. Can't clean up onto Yuji. Sonic Wave lands and Masu back-to-back kills. Wants to find Minui as well to clean it up. And the spacing is there for FlyQuest to win.
I gotta say, I didn't know why Winsome was throwing Masu right into Cassante, but Masu makes it work with the resets. He actually is able to get out of there, even saves his flash space to Aphelios beautifully in the last part of that play. That at least gets him LDR, so FlyQuest, they get more gold in their pockets, and I think that LDR is gonna be so big for FlyQuest moving forward, because this Jinx DPS now, when you have LDR against Cassante by Shogath, who continues to stack health, that's going to be doing really big things for the side of FlyQuest and going to make it so much easier for Masu to get that first reset.
All the stress in the world onto Masu, and he handles it without breaking a sweat. This game plan by FlyQuest to set the trap was executed brilliantly.
I mean, Spyrax is baiting there. I think that Fear, they kind of have to read that. There's no way that Annie wants to get VIQ'd, right? If she doesn't have teammates. Spyrax is looking real juicy there in the top lane for the side of Fear. Fear, they take the bait, it gets turned on, and then the back half of this fight, things get crazy. I think Minui played the first part of this fight really well. See Faisal again, who's been really big on the Cassante, and Trevor, I mean, he's the one that finds Spyrax. That's the last time the Spyrax shows on Vision. Spyrax wrapping around now. Trevor has that hook back up. This is a great find. Spyrax needs to use Tibbers to get himself in here. Does not. Trevor finds the hook. But then the other part of the fight, Philip goes Mega twice, and Philip was the one who really saves things for Masu with this Meganar ult. The fact that he saved this in the top play gets really big here, because the second time he has this available, and that's what opens up the space for Masu to actually get the resets and find Minui. Really nice spacing here from Masu as he's steps back, utilizes the bonus range he has on the Jinx. Well played from FlyQuest.
Great heads up from Masu to spot where the ruptures were, because, you know, just one rupture catching Masu on that back end, Minui collapses on Masu and takes him down. So Masu is positioning brilliantly, also has that protection of Winsome, everything coming together for that fight for FlyQuest. But again, look at that gold, Cubby. We're almost at even at the 26-minute mark.
But if we could see the gold difference with some of the carries, because a lot of the gold is on Jinx. And I think that is, again, the most valuable target for FlyQuest. Masu needs to get resets. And this Jinx is ahead. Early on, we talked about how Minui was behind in CS, but was trading out the kills, getting gold still. It was a big deal that Aphelios was able to keep pace. Aphelios has lost pace now. As you can see, yeah, about a 1.5k gold lead onto Masu himself. So even with gold being even, I think FlyQuest has their gold allocated better. That's going to be really important for them as they want to get this soul point. They failed to do it the last two times, but I think this fight sets up a lot better for the side of FlyQuest.
And again, good luck picking Masu, because his flash is up, his ghost is up, he has Winsome there. There's so many different tools to keep Masu alive. And that is going to be the objective for Cincinnati Fear. Take him down as Faisal now feeling the brunt of what Philip can do as he gets a little bit more itemization coming out from this Gnar.
Yeah, Black Cleaver completed, so that Cassante no longer wins in the side lane matchup. He's just going to have to all out and try and do his best in team fights, and Fear on the back half. I will say FlyQuest, they're trying to play through mid for this one. And this could be curious.
Oh, Perry walks in, but it's into two. Dragon's Rage forces Perry into the pit.
Masu.
And here comes Masu, excited. Rocket after rocket onto Shochi. The knockup is able to stop Masu from going forward. Super Mega Death Rocket will not land, but you're down a smite.
Curious. Okay, FlyQuest, they want to actually really push the game pace forward. They're going for the Baron. They could take the Dragon as it spawns, but no, smite's down. They're going to try this again.
Wow. The call from Cincinnati Fear is to contest the Baron once again.
Watch
Yuji, half health there.
Philip wants Mega.
Spyrax has Flash gets too. Steal. He has the Devour available.
Yeah, they're going to... Okay.
Doesn't have Flash, though. There's no way this happens. They're going to Lantern out. Cincinnati Fear, empty-handed. But FlyQuest might look for a fight on the back end. Zap does not land. Chunk of damage onto Masu. FlyQuest still chasing, still pushing Fear away. They're going for the long chase right here. Sidestep coming out from Philip. Gets away from the death sentence, losing that Meganar form. FlyQuest have chased Fear towards the other side of the river where they can start the Dragon.
Parry's up and Parry's here. They're going to find a great chunk on the Cassante. We'll see how much Masu can do.
Oh, nice knock-up onto Faisal. Lantern does its work right there.
That's it.
Dragon now being threatened by FlyQuest.
Yeah. Really well done here by FlyQuest. I think Fear made a mistake trying to contest that Baron. They could have gotten soul point, or they just dropped the objective, but no.
Yeah.
Instead, they try to contest. They lose both. And I think FlyQuest playing slow, again, using the range of Masu is really big. And you can see how much more controlled FlyQuest are. Because they don't, like, the cage brings so much peel, but it doesn't bring that guaranteed insta CC. Like, finding that chunk on Cassante, that's the dragon going over. And that's set up by Spyrax, just pressing Q, chaining things really well with FlyQuest. Feels like this Annie is giving them a little bit more ease of direction with how they're finding these chunks and starting these fights. It's been really big for Masu.
Yeah, because even if Perry does get into that back line, all it takes is one stun. It disrupts so much from what Cincinnati Fear want to do, and Spyrax has been pretty on point on landing these, has been great for the team fight that we've been having out of Cincinnati Fear, and it's all to feed this player right here, this star rookie of the split, Masu, currently 6-1-5.
And FlyQuest with Baron are cruising. You can see Fear, they're going to try and play through mid. They're actually going for the collapse now on the FlyQuest. See how FlyQuest responds. Philip's going to need the TP. He's about to get out of Mega, too. This could be a good look, actually, for Fear.
They're already in position. Jochi there,
yeah,
Trevor over the wall.
This could be dangerous.
He wants an angle for that death sentence. Masu steps up, still in that position, right next to that turret. Will be able to take it down. And over the wall, Philip has arrived. Silence comes out. Again, as you said, no Meganar, but there's no inhibitor as well from FlyQuest, who split Fear and forced them into a situation where they don't feel comfortable fighting.
And now look at the chunk that Philip's finding on the parry. Now parry has to reset so he can't go in. I thought that Fear, if they were able to go in, you at least fight when you have a mini Narn. You probably force TP as well. That's not the worst case scenario for them given the game state, but no, they wait. I think that, I don't know what they're waiting for. That's the key. I know that everyone on the side of FlyQuest has flash. Maybe they're going to try and pull one of those on the reset. I think it's the only thing that, like, you can really feel they're waiting for to go in, because I do think that was actually an okay scenario for them.
I think they feel a lot of pressure of what's coming out on this protection of Masu, because Masu was able to just step up, and they know if they use cease and desist, Winsome's just going to pop Devour right there. They need to make sure that their crowd control is utilized efficiently and effectively, because if it misses, they're not getting a second chance. FlyQuest will take a fight.
FlyQuest, I like how they're pushing the game forward. I mean, what a comeback from FlyQuest. They had to get themselves back into this game, Deserex, after throwing a 7K gold lead 16 minutes in the last game. That's a lot of mental fortitude showed early in this best of 5. And folks, if you had any doubts about where this series was going, it sure as hell looks like we're in it for the long haul. Each team, I'm not going to go out of the limb and say they're playing the cleanest League of Legends we've already seen, but it's been a fist fight back and forth. And as we have Winsome, he's going to get caught here.
Oh, here comes Perry. Able to land it onto Winsome, but Perry is deleted in the blink of an eye.
Okay. Who was really caught in that scenario, Deserex? Okay, there's no more engage here for the side of Fear, and with the rockets coming out from Masu, you gotta believe that's gonna be this turret falling and probably another inhibitor.
This is looking surgical coming out from FlyQuest. They already took out.
They got the eat. It was off screen, but Masu, he was forced to be eaten as the green-white setup from Inui has been good. That is actually something they can look for if Perry's back on the map in 15 seconds. I think FlyQuest now, they're only going to take this spot. They get one more wave here. They have to back off after this.
Perry's still down. Rupture goes out, but again, Fear are having a hard time finding an engage because they don't have Perry.
They're staying.
They're still waiting for 3 seconds.
This could be dangerous.
It's going to spawn soon. This might be an overstay coming out for FlyQuest. If Shochi wants to go for the chase, Death Sentence going to be found. Oh, and there's the silence, which means no Ward Hop. There's a Rupture, lands on the Winsome, and Perry is off the respawn. If he can get there, point and click CC can take down any of these carries, but the pressure from FlyQuest is being found in the bottom lane. Philip still pushing minions down there.
No inhibitor, though, and at least Fear is going to buy the time to make sure they can catch all these waves. So it will be some gold now coming out of Fear. Oh, he's flash ult. Okay,
he's going for the ult.
Flash.
Yeah. Opts in, uses the flash to try and get onto Philip. Gonna have the backup of Faisal, but even Faisal can't close the distance. Has to use his flash to try and hop onto Philip. Pulls him right back in. Teleport being channeled out of Spyrax. You need to get this kill quick. Slammed into the wall! Philip will deny it all from Cincinnati Fear. Oh, is he gonna fall though? No! He will stay alive and he will thrive for FlyQuest.
Meanwhile, on the base, Masu finds 2, and just like that, game 2 is wrapped. We have a split series.
1-1 apiece. What a slugfest from both of these squads after suffering defeat on the comeback plays of Cincinnati Fear. FlyQuest will not be phased and take us to a 1-1 series.
Bouncing back from a game 1 like that, It's not easy to do. Sometimes you have teams where they're going to be like, hey, we had a lead like that. We can find another. It's okay. Other times you're going to have teams that do not get over the fact they threw that game. FlyQuest, I think, bouncing back in that game too. That's big for this best of 5. Evening the score, getting this back into best of 3 territory now as we have a 1-1 game. And I got to say, each team, they're throwing haymakers, man. It's been back and forth. Each team in both games have had a significant lead at some point.
Yes.
And it makes me really excited for this series as we move on.
It's back and forth, as he said, haymakers. They're swinging for the fences, man. It is a great series to be watching. It is a great time to be watching in the NACL. We're going to throw it over a short break. When we return, we'll have Kangas to help hype up that game number 2 along with us in our Rally Cry halftime show.
Welcome to another episode of On the Range. What in tarnation? I gotta go check on the critters. By golly, the predators got out.
Uh-oh, he might be caught. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait. This is Unforgiven.
Oh, my
This is
God.
Unforgiven. You got to remember that. He wins this.
Oh, my God.
He is going to win this.
What?
Unforgiven.
Are you serious?
What the hell was that?
Peter, come on, get in the car.
Chunk down. The rocket's landing from Manui, though. And Perry flashing forward, trying to get Ryoma. He'll take him out. No, he doesn't have the distance. But Manui, he gets the shutdowns. Maybe even a triple, but it will.
Oh, God.
For the kick into the skies, the send. Do they have the first damage? Yes, they do. And Spawn Kale forces forward, getting revenge for the previous assassination. Winsome is now retreating from the breath of light as they breeze down death into Winsome's back.
Bot lane, 2v4 at the moment with the damage on Discant, with the battle dance away from Zazel. That's going to be the equalizer utilized. But the blade caller!
Okay.
Support CLG Faith!
I'm a little busy right now. You'll have to come back next week for On the Range. And here's some cake barbecue. Let's run!